Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane, about the ordinary, about something that might just help you drift off. One thing that we can promise you is that our conversation will be less than fascinating, so feel free to close your eyes and just listen, and maybe you'll drift off to sleep. Otherwise, we hope you will just relax. Thank you for joining us. We, in fact, hope you will listen and sleep as well. Feel free to tweet us. Our handle is listen and sleep, and you spell out the word and. I am your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna.
Nidhi, let's talk about lamps.
Great. Let's.
So, I have a lot of lamps in my home. What are your feelings about lamps?
I am a big lamp person.
Oh, see, I did not know this about you.
Yes, I prefer a lamp to a ceiling light or a ceiling fixture. I prefer warm lighting coming from my lamp as opposed to a fluorescent lamp or any other white bulb lamp.
So, if I get this correct, in your lamp, what kind of bulb would you have? Obviously not a fluorescent and not one that casts a white light, is that correct?
Correct. So something with more of a yellowish hue to it,
Okay.
a warmer lighting. I once had a lamp that was completely bright red.
Oh.
And when you put in like a warmer colored light bulb,
Sure.
it gave off this wonderful glow in the room, which was really pleasant to come home to, particularly because it was a very small lamp. So it was one that you could keep on. Let's say you were leaving for the evening and
Okay.
was going to come back after a couple of hours. It really just set a wonderfully calming mood when you walked into my apartment.
Oh, wow. How important is the lamp shade for you?
Very important. I think the lamp shade is, well, it makes or breaks a lamp. I had a beautiful lamp that I got from IKEA many years ago, which was a paper lampshade. They were quite popular at one time. They may still be popular. And it was very rectangular, and it was a floor to ceiling kind of paper lamp.
I think it kind of looks like a
Japanese lanternish.
I wanted to say like a loofah sponge.
A little bit,
okay.
yeah. And so I had that lamp, and it was another really wonderful lamp that provided a really good, calming, relaxing, had that kind of essence to it.
Sure.
But when I moved from that apartment, I had to get rid of that lamp.
Oh.
I know. So that was a bit disappointing.
Sure. You know, you can really change a lamp by changing its shade. So if you have a nice base or an interesting base, you know, sometimes you'll have a lamp that you've had for years and years and years, and then you get tired of it. Rather than get rid of the lamp, change the shade is what I say.
That's great advice, Marco.
Now, sorry. No, please. Because
Well,
I have something I want to ask you, so I want to hear what you're about to say.
Well, I can see you're Googling something that was all the rage when I was growing up.
Oh, I bet you're going to say what I was going to say.
Well, I don't want to take away your thunder, so please go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you ever had a lava lamp. Is that what you were going to say?
I did have a lava lamp at one point in high school for a short amount of time.
Now, describe what a lava lamp is in case people don't.
So a lava lamp is kind of like a glass lamp that basically, I don't even know what the substance is that's in it. It's kind of this gel-like substance, maybe?
It's actually, it contains blobs of like colored wax.
Okay.
And it has a translucent liquid, so the wax kind of rises and falls, would you say,
Yes.
as the lamp heats up, right?
Yes.
So it's not the blobs that illuminate, but rather the base would illuminate. So if you haven't seen, well, actually, if you go to our Twitter handle, I'll attach a photo of a lava lamp. I'm sure most people know what a lava lamp is, but I'll attach one. It was invented in 1963 by a British accountant named Edward Craven Walker.
Oh, wow.
So that's where that comes from. And the appearance of that wax, Nidhi, kind of gives the effect of when lava kind of bubbles from a volcano.
Right.
And I also had a lava lamp.
What color was your lava
Mine
lamp?
was the traditional red.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most were. Do you have a favorite lamp in your house?
You know, it's funny you should say that. So, there was this lamp that I saw at kind of a pricey sort of homeware store. And it was like $175. But I fell in love with it. But I couldn't justify spending, and this was years ago, so I was still living, I think, in my first apartment that I was renting, and I just fell in love with this lamp. So it must have been about 15 years ago, and more actually. And I couldn't justify spending $175. But I kept my eye on this lamp, and I kept my eye on it, and it went on sale for $100. And I was still like, oh, do I spend $100 on a lamp?
Sure.
But I had a friend who worked for this particular store, Pure One, I believe it was, and he said, I can get you my staff discount, which was like maybe 20%. And I'm like, do I really? I think it was $75. It ended up costing $75. And I'm like, do I spend $75 on a lamp? And he convinced me. He was like, you know what? You love it. You know, it's not often that you splurge like that on something like a lamp, but you'll always love that lamp. And I said, you're right. So I gave the $75. And you know how in some moments in your life, $75 is something you could easily spend. It was one of those moments where $75 was a lot for me.
Right.
But because of that splurge, I just love that lamp to this day. And it has it reminds me of like the desert. Like, it has a sort of Santa Fe-ish quality to it in the colors. It has a turquoise colored base.
Okay.
And the shade is a suede, like a faux brown, chocolate brown suede.
Oh, that's
I'll show
beautiful.
it to you. Yeah, and it's something about I've always liked. I don't think my wife particularly likes it, but it's one of those things that I just am so happy I have. So, Nidhi, let me ask you. Tell me about a time where you spent a lot of money on something.
Ooh.
That, you know, you were kind of second guessing, but now you're glad you spent that money on that particular item.
So, Marco, I think for me, it's usually I spend money on like two different things.
Okay.
Either it'll be some clothing item
Okay.
that I was like, ooh, like either a pair of shoes or a purse or even just a dress. But as I get on in years and have more and more clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and I take part in more and more clothing swaps,
Yes.
I don't need to shop for those items anymore. So I haven't really done that in a long time. However, I tend to spend money on experiences or like a really luxurious massage or a trip somewhere or personal training. Every once in a while I'll go and I'll get like a personal training package.
Oh, that's great.
Like our mutual friend Barrett Morrison is a personal trainer, and he's really wonderful. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, should I spend some money on a personal trainer? And then you do, and you feel so wonderful afterwards that you're really happy that you did it. Or, you know, like I'm taking golf lessons, or I'm taking some lesson here or there.
Sure.
Those are the type of things that I spend
Okay.
money on. So in a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're spending the money, you don't regret it as much
Fair.
because you get the experience out of it.
Right.
And that's kind of the intangible. So I'm a little bit boring that way.
No, I don't think that's boring. I think that's unique to you. You know, you mentioned purses.
Yes.
And what makes a good purse for you?
For me, it needs to have a little bit of a statement associated with it.
Okay.
So it's got to have some sort of uniqueness. I mean, there's two different ways that I look at purses.
Okay, tell
It
me.
either needs to be functional, like a daytime purse needs to be functional, needs to fit a lot of things in there.
Okay.
Hopefully it can fit my makeup and my keys and my wallet, etc.
Sure.
But then at night, I want something that has more of a statement associated with it. So it has to have some sort of cool look and feel. Something that if I was wearing all black, my purse would stand out.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
It would be the pop of color or texture or something.
You got it.
So tell me, what? And this is a question that I like as a guy I've never really like understood. But what's a clutch? It's a type of purse, or is it a purse? Is it its own thing? I don't understand. I hear that term and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
A clutch. It is a good question. It is a purse. It is something that it's kind of like an evening bag, but it has no straps. It's something that you hold in your hand. You clutch it, essentially.
Oh, I see. So it's a purse without a handle?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. It's kind of, you put it under your arm, or you hold it in your hand. And clutches tend to have a bit more of that bolder impact that I was talking about.
Okay.
They tend to be a little bit more, you know, have a bit more pizzazz to it than a normal purse.
I have a good friend whose wife has a purse that when she opens it, and it's interesting because I'm connecting two of our topics, a light would
That's
illuminate
fascinating.
so that she could see the inside of her purse.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's an unmet need right there.
It's sort of like a lamp inside a purse
That's
or a light. Yeah.
really, really cool.
It sounds like a purse that you would like. I'll have to keep my eyes open for the
Please
purse
do.
that has the light in it.
Please do. Marco, have you ever been to Kansas?
No, I haven't actually. You know, it's interesting. I've always wanted to go to the prairies, and I believe Kansas
It's kind
makes up part of the prairies.
You know, that's a good question. I guess so. It definitely has a lot of wheat, I think. My only understanding of Kansas really has been from, like, Superman comics.
Sure.
Or, like, the Smallville TV show.
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz.
She's from Kansas, right?
Yep. Did you know that Kansas at one time was really popular for potatoes? Not
No.
as much anymore. Now it's more about wheat. But the name is actually translated from a local Native American dialect.
Okay.
And people say that one of the translations is loosely translated as a good place to dig potatoes.
Oh.
But others also say that it's also possible that it means smoky hill. So go figure. Those are pretty wide-ranging translations of the name. Actually, it's Topeka. That means not Kansas. So
I see.
Kansas is not the translation. It's the name Topeka that either means a good place to dig potatoes or Smoky Hill.
I think it's pronounced Topeka.
Is it Topeka?
Yeah, what makes you bring up Topeka, Kansas, Nidhi?
Well, we do have some listeners out in
okay, because I was
Topeka.
wondering, I'm like, all of a sudden, Nidhi's fascinated by Kansas. It's pretty awesome.
I think, why not? And so we want to shout out to our listeners there by giving everyone who listens to our podcast a taste of Kansas, or Topeka, Kansas, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2010, you'll actually like this, Marco.
Oh, okay.
The city of Topeka temporarily changed its name to Google, Kansas.
Oh, really?
To win some favor from Google.
Sure.
So that is pretty bold.
When I think of Topeka, I think they're one of the places that gets hit by tornadoes. I would imagine all of Kansas does.
Right, of course.
I know that I think I remember they had a few hits with tornadoes in the past. So I'm sure, it's interesting, Nidhi, that places that get affected by certain natural disasters, they're prepared for it in a way that, for example, if a tornado was to hit, I wouldn't really know what to do, go in the basement, because I know that. But if you're in a place like Topeka, I would imagine that you would know what to do in the event of a tornado. That's not to say that's all they have, of course.
No, they actually also have, Topeka is also the home of the first $1 million high school.
What?
Yes. So Topeka High School was opened in 1931, and construction costs reached $1.75 million back in 1931.
That's cool. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's. I wonder what was in that high school at that time to cost so much. Faucets
made of gold.
You would think, because in this day and age, if you were to say a high school cost $1.75 million to build, actually it's not that much money, but let's just say in inflationary terms or whatever, $10 million to build, you'd expect it to be kind of high tech.
Sure.
And really, I guess high tech and just avant-garde. But I wonder in 1931 what that would translate to.
I imagine this school. Do you have the name of this school? I imagine it would be
Topeka High School.
Topeka High School. I wonder if it's just a huge school. I'll have to ask our listeners from Topeka to settle on how to pronounce it, because I think you and I have two different pronunciations.
I think I'm pronouncing it incorrectly.
Well, we'll find out. And to let us know about this high school. I'd love to go to this high school. I love old buildings from that time period.
Oh, it looks beautiful. I have a photo here.
Is it very Art Deco-y? Oh yeah, it almost looks like a university.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's a really large high school. Well, for our listeners out in Topeka, thank you for listening.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Feel free to tell us more about your city at Listen and Sleep, and what tips you would have if a tornado was to rumble through our parts. What should be the first few things we should do?
Marco, if a tornado were to pass through downtown Toronto, I don't know what would happen.
We've had, it's funny because where my parents live, one time there was a tornado that went through, that ripped through and affected some of the homes on my parents' cul-de-sac.
Oh, wow.
And we happened to be having dinner there at the time. Yeah, so it was an interesting it made CNN, it made the news, and that wasn't that long ago. Less than 5 years ago is when that happened. And it's one of those things. They're awesome to see on the television, but they're not awesome when they come to you. So certainly that's not something I would want to get into.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. Is there a particular weather state that you enjoy the most? I can tell you that I love sunny, warm, hot weather.
Okay.
Like, I love hot summer nights.
Okay.
Those are also wonderful, kind of evokes really pleasant feelings for me.
Okay.
It's when I walk out and it's like pitch dark, 11 o'clock at night, and it's so warm. I love that.
See, I prefer a crisp fall day where
That's
you
right.
where
I
you could
love
just
this.
wear a nice sweater and be outside and be comfortable. That for me is my ideal sort of weather condition or weather feed of weather for feeling the most comfortable.
Now, your in-laws live in Florida.
They do, yes.
Are they impacted by hurricanes in Florida?
Yeah, there is. They usually leave the state. That's when they'll travel, is during the
Hurricane
season. Yeah. Have you ever experienced an earthquake? These are great topics to make people relax.
Go to sleep. So not a full-on earthquake, but like I think every now and then you'll get some like aftershocks
Sure.
that rumble up to our corner of the world. So it's always been very, very minor and minute.
Right.
Have you?
Yes.
Really?
Well, once again, it's those small tremors that we get that, and what will happen, Nidhi, is it's interesting because I don't necessarily, or haven't necessarily felt the ground shake, but what I've noticed is I'll look at a plant and it'll move in an odd way, and I'll just stare. I remember staring at this plant and saying to myself, what's making that plant tremble? It appears as though that the plant is trembling, not as if, sometimes a plant in your home will catch a breeze and
Sure.
sort of wave a little bit, or the leaves might dance a little. But this looks like a plant that's got the shivers. It kind of has a tremor.
Tremor?
Tremor, yeah. Like it'll have it'll almost look like the plant is shivering. And I'm like, what's going on? And then it was revealed that we had a
Earthquake
or an aftershock or something. And sure enough, I saw on a program it says you'll notice plants, they'll move in a strange sort of way. So yeah, that's one of the things that
I always miss it because I'm like I always am kind of like, oh, what's that shaking?
Sure.
And before I can even figure out what happened,
it's done.
It's done, and it's so fleeting that you almost think that it's in your head because it's like, oh, that didn't happen.
Right.
So, and then sometimes you'll find out that it was an earthquake. But yeah.
Have you ever been to a gorge?
Okay, so describe a gorge for me because I think I have.
I think a gorge is like, oh, I hope I'm right in saying this, like the, what's that huge park called? It's just escaped my mind. The one that
Where is it?
it's in the States. It's humongous. It's like
Like the Grand Canyon?
The Grand Canyon is what I'm trying to say. It's like you'd think it'd be top of mind, but I think it's kind of like a small canyon or like a rocky crevice that kind of.
See, okay, so then, for example, the Evergreen Brickworks in Toronto. That's not a gorge?
No.
What is that?
I have no idea. Isn't that just a building? Like, are you talking about a building?
No. The actual area, the bricklayers area.
Oh,
Like beyond the building, there's a whole. Oh, I think that's a quarry.
Yes, that's a gorge. So I've looked up the definition of gorge, and it is a deep, narrow passage with steep rocky sides. A ravine. So there you go. So that's what a gorge is.
A ravine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think probably the Grand Canyon is far too big to be considered a gorge.
I think I have because there's like ravines in and around Toronto that I believe I've been to.
I'm sure in Europe I've been to a gorge or two.
Yeah, I want to say I have.
It's just an interesting word that sort of popped in my head. Like, we need to travel to a gorge and record a podcast there. You know what I mean?
Do.
In the
I wonder
center
what
of a
the
gorge.
echo would be like in a gorge.
Oh, it might be a little bit too harsh. We'd have to figure out how to equalize. Oftentimes, Nidhi and I are playing with buttons as we record our podcast, trying to manipulate the sound and make sure we don't run into too many reverb issues.
But that being said, we did not have to play with the sound tonight.
No, we didn't.
In fact, the sounds have been quite soothing, other than our earthquake conversation.
What is a soothing sound for you? For example, rain is not for me. For a lot of people it is, but that's not a soothing sound for me.
I think people talking, which
Okay.
is
Fair. That's what we do here.
why we hope that you have enjoyed this episode of us talking on the Insomnia Project. As always, we are produced by Drumcast Productions.
We want to say a special shout out to our friends who listen in Topeka, Kansas. Thank you for listening. Feel free to give us a tweet at Listen and Sleep. And tonight's podcast was recorded in Toronto.